Good morning. This is Bang Bang Rahil. Just a little podcast this morning. Please like and subscribe. How we going? I'm just going to go out and do a little walk and a run and do some exercises. So I'll do something else later. I got a podcast yesterday, but it'd been there a couple of days from a guy called Sergio, yeah, and light heavyweight, good fighter, and he put something on for me, saying what I should do and all that, and he trained me. He's a nice fella, mate. His son always follows me on my podcast. Sergio, look at his body, mate. He's crisp. He's cuts of anything. The guy trains 24/7. He runs, he spars. He's just as he was. I forget how many fights he's had, but I don't think he lost any fights. He's really, really good, Sergio. And light heavyweight, I think he comes from the bush. I've seen him a couple of times. Nice one, mate. Nice one. You. Thanks very much for what you said, and I respect that, mate. You're a nice one. I don't know about the old man, but keep going, yeah. The old man. I love you for that. Anyway, I was thinking about all these ex-pros and all that, and who've lost their license for violence and all that. Listen, they shouldn't be losing their license for violence. It's terrible. You know what I mean? They should keep the license, and because you get some good fighters, you know, that have just lost their license and they can't get it back, and their life's completely finished over something so stupid, spur of the moment thing. I know we really shouldn't do that. Fighters should have a bit more discipline about them, but it happens, yeah. And they lose their license and they lose their life, yeah. And a lot of them go into this illegal fights, street fights, and all that, yeah. And I mean, the other day, there's no way that this Ben Hatchett and this other geezer, London something, yeah, that ever put a pair of gloves on in their life before, just maybe once or twice, and maybe for the playing snowballs in the back garden, but other than that, never. You know what I mean? It's so pathetic. They're doing these shows now, you know, well, I think it's good for what they're doing, if you can get anything out of it. You know, you've got these white collar things now. I mean, I've seen some fights now. It's pathetic, you know what I mean? It's just gone crazy. They're just putting people in the ring and just letting them bash one another up. It's not performance no more. It doesn't look any good. There's no start. There's nothing about it no more. There's no. I mean, you put good pros in the ring with these people. They're not 2 or 3 people out together, you know. But I think a good fight. Would be my mate Fish against Ben Hatchett. I know that Fish trained before for the fight with Ben Hatchett. I think Ben Hatchett pulled out of it. It wouldn't have even happened. I mean, Ben Hatchett would not be like he is now. You know what he's done. Not they go out with a quick uppercut to the chin, but and walking around like he's world champion. But fair play to Ben. He done what he had to do. It doesn't mean you've got to go in there for 10 rounds and get knocked to around the gaff, but he done what he had to do. Fair play to him. But what he done the other day with his London geezer was a bit out of order, and this London geezer loves it. He's getting more subscribers now. He's getting more Instagrams and all that. He says the guy looks a bit of a steak to me. He's always smoking cigarettes. How the fuck he can never get in the boxing ring? I don't know. He smokes about 10 fags in about 10 hours. He don't stop smoking, and light them up. And, you know, he talks about, it's my last tenner. I feel quite sorry for him as happens, you know what I mean? He's got a family. And mind you, he does what he does. I can't see him ever being in the boxing ring. I tell you what, he's a lot taller than what I imagined him to be. He must be 6'3", 6'4". He's lanky, very lanky. I should imagine he'd be a bit hard to get hold of if he did box him. Ben, but I can't see. Come on, it can't happen, mate. It's so pathetic, it's unbelievable. You know what I mean? But Ben, a good fight for you, I think, would be Fish. Fish is more likely training, all secretly. He hasn't been on podcasts enough. It doesn't mean to say he's not alive. He's not human. He's a really. Listen, let me tell you something, Ben. I'd love to see you and Fish fight, but let me tell you something. This geezer, he trains maybe 12 hours a day. He runs. I was in prison with this guy, yeah. He used to run an hour solid around the cage, and that drove him mad. Come on, in a little short space, running around the cage in Wandsworth or in any prison I went to. He'd be running around all the time, never stop running. He's a proper nice guy, and he can bang. Every time I see him hit anybody on the chin, they're gone. And he puts them together well. He's got hands like steel. He came into my place one day when I lived in home. I was smashing my water pieces. I thought he was a demolition worker. He didn't need no hammer. He didn't need anything. He just smashed it to pieces. You know what I mean? Years ago, they used to use the old mattock and the sledge, but this higher fish. And he knocked a building down with his fish. I swear on my life, he's he can have it. Or Ben Hatchett and Matty. How about that? That's a good fight. Ben Hatchett and Matty. That'd be a good fight because they both shout about what they can and can't do. That'd be a good fight. I'd love to see that. I mean, come on, there's no way in a million years that me and Matty are ever going to fight. It won't happen. It won't happen. It can't happen. Matty can't fight me, mate. It's not even a joke. It's all right saying we're going to do this and we do that. We ain't going to fight, mate. It can't happen. It can never happen. He just get bashed up, he get hurt, and it wouldn't. For what reason? Do you know what I mean? I've just hurt him bad, and I don't want to hurt mate. He had a bad kid, really. You know what I mean? But he can't get the ring with me, mate. That's like crazy. That's crazy. He's never been in the ring in his life before, and he thinks he can get the ring with an ex-pro. He's got no chance. He's got no chance. He's got a knock on the head, mate. Honestly. Anyway, I think that Matty he doesn't want it. He did phone me up about last week and said we're not going to have it anyway, Ray. I don't know. Listen, I knew that. But Ben Hatchett and Matty, that'd be a good fight. Ben Hatchett and Matty, how about that? Or that Lazard geezer with Matty. Let me tell you something. I don't think Ben's done too much fighting. I know Matty is training hard with my mate down the coast, Barney, and he's doing quite well. I've been told he's sparring quite well, and he's got my mate behind him, Kevin Paddock. Sid Paddock, Kevin Paddock, he's got him behind him. I've got to do a podcast with Kevin very, very soon with KON TV. He's up for it. We're going to go down and meet him and do a good podcast. He's a nice fella, Sid. Kevin Paddock, I get mixed up first in the morning, innit? He's a nice fella, Kevin. The guy can have it, he can fight, he can bang, and he just loves to fight. It's what he does. He's 28 stone now, so if he hits you on the chin, mate, you're in trouble. If he rolls on you, boy, you're in trouble. You're never going to get up, are you? Come on, 28 stone. But he's about 5 foot, 5'6", 5'7". But this guy could bang. I mean, when I fought him, this geezer got in the middle of the ring with me about round 7 and said to me, come on, mate, let's have a fight. Let's start fighting. We ain't done that. Let's start. I thought, Jesus Christ, this geezer means it. And we cracked on, and it was a good fight, mate. We both threw plenty of punches. We both hurt each other, and it was a nice fight. You know what I mean? His brother Sid was a heavyweight. Sid was a good fighter. Me and Sid, we done 8 rounds, 10 rounds. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure about Kevin if we done 8 or 10 rounds. But they're all good fights. Really, really good fights. You know what I mean? And plenty of banging. I can bang. They can bang. You know, it's understand. Sometimes you think yourself, like I can hit people on the chin and go over, but you get someone like a good fighter can ride the punch. You know what I mean? And he's got a great big neck, Kevin. And it's all about that, isn't it? But I would like to see again Fish fighting Matty, either fighting Matty or fighting Ben Hatchett. I can't see Ben Hatchett wanting to fight Fish. I can't see any gains in that. I mean, Fish would just pulverise him. He wouldn't last too long. If you're watching this, Ben, I think you know that, mate. Anyway, he would just walk over you, mate. But Ben Hatchett and Matty, that'd be a good fight. I think Matty's he's doing a lot more than Ben is. It seems to me that Ben's just drinking and taking bits and pieces. I hope not. I think it's just a fast. I think it's just a game. I don't think Ben was drunk. I don't think Ben was taking drugs. He's a bit more sensible than that. You know, he don't want to go back in prison. You know, come on, I think that little clump he gave to the Tsar was all cobblers. You know, cobblers maybe the Tsar made it look a lot worse than what it was. He's playing on it now, saying about Ben's got to give him money, and the other mob, the Irish fellas, but we've got to give him money. I think he's got to be careful what he says there. You know what I mean? He'll open a can of worms. It'll get worse for him instead of better. You can't start saying to people, "You've got to give me this, you've got to give me that." Because these people who show it was, I mean, they're a bit naughty. So be careful what you say, Lazar, and you know, take it a little bit easier than that. You know what I mean? But oh, you this, you want this and want that, as if you're threatening them, mate. Don't do that. You know what I mean? These people don't take threats too nicely. You know what I mean? Anyway, as I'm saying, I'd like to give my respects to my mate Sergio again. Good fighter, good light heavyweight, good pro. I don't think he ever got beat as a pro. He wants to train me, you know, but come on. I train myself in the morning. I don't do nothing very spectacular. I'm not fit at the minute. I'm getting fitter. We're going to put a gym. We're going to make a gym shortly. We're going to put a bag up. Start using a bag. Obviously, so the greatest thing in the world in a gym is the sparring. You ain't going to go nowhere unless you start sparring with good fighters. That's the only way to learn. That's the only way you're going to know if you can take a bang on the chin and you can still got it there, because to go in the ring for even one round, you got to train for about, what, a month? For one round, you got to train for a month. So imagine how these professional fighters, I was in my league myself, imagine how long you got to train for. You know, they got to train for a month, for a minute. They train for weeks for 1 minute. Weeks. They train 24/7, mentally. Physically, they train, well, I don't know what, 12 hours a day? Running, sparring, skipping, floor work, all the time. Mental. Thinking, walking, thinking, talking, watching videos. They don't stop fighting. If you're a fighter, if you're going to box, you've got to fight. You've got to box 24/7. There's no point in, that's why a lot of these people that get on in fighting, they've got sponsors. They've got good sponsors. As an amateur, I remember John O'Gardner. John O'Gardner went a long way. A lot of people must know John O'Gardner. He good heavyweight, mate. I remember as an amateur when I used to go down a Noble Arc in Aberstock Hill, and he had sponsors like coming out of your armpit. You know what I mean? He had so many sponsors, and that's what gets on in life. If you've got sponsors, you don't got work. All you do, you train. All you do, you train 24/7, and you learn all the time. You're learning. One of the best fighters to learn from is Tyson. Not Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson. Tyson Fury's got the longest arms in history. He can tie you up. He's the worst. You can't beat him, Tyson Fury. He just ties you up. You can't. You know, I fought a couple of fighters like that. He just fighters you don't want to get in the ring with, because they just tie you up in bits and pieces. You can't move, yeah. And Tyson's like that. He's got long arms, just ties you up, mate, and bang. You know, good fighter, Tyson Fury. But the best one is Mike Tyson. You look at Mike Tyson, the way he bobs, the way he weaves, the way he bang, as he's bobbing, he's punching, as he's weaving, he's punching. The geezer is a proper fighter. Fought from an early age and come up and become the best fighter ever. The guy hits like a mule. He hits like a mule. Not that people are saying, oh, the way he moves. Listen, he's got that fight. He's got that punch. That punch was bred in him. He got that punch from birth, yeah? He got that punch from birth. And mate, he's such a good fighter, mate. His age now, he's still crisp. You wouldn't want to get in the ring with him, mate. You wouldn't want to get in the ring with him. You'd get really, really hurt. You know, he would hurt you, mate. I mean, when I was fighting, we all say the same thing. We're all the same fighters. You know, when you're fighting, when you're training, you're physically fit. You get in the ring, you're sparring all the time. You don't think no one can hurt you. But can we all say, yeah, I'd fight him, I'd do this, I'd do that. But, you know, I've never ever thought in a million years that I'd want to fight Mike Tyson. He challenged suck. I mean, he was just a fantastic fighter. The man knew how to bang, he knew how to bob, he knew how to weave. You couldn't fight him, mate. He's just, even at his age now, he's got it together and he looks good, he looks crisp. He trains really hard, 24/7 still, mentally, physically. That's what it's about. Listen, this is Bang Bang Rail. I'm now going to go to do my workout and I'll do podcast later on. And you take it easy. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget, we're going to try and get fish with either Matty or fish with Ben Hatchett or Ben Hatchett with Matty. That'd be a great fight. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.